just another fun night in the Valley. It's a nice Friday out there, Susie, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. It's a little windy and cold for me. I'm ready for like the heat to come on.
Wimp. Come on.
I know.
It's
I'm a
cold.
Vegas rat, man. I like the heat.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's weekend.
Do you celebrate
everybody.
that? Not being Catholic and all?
No, absolutely I do. I lived in Ireland. I'll tell you the stories. I'll do my Irish
accent. No, don't tell me a story. No, your stories are awesome. You should put them in a text.
You don't
and then
mean
I can
that
read
when
them
you say
right
that.
before I go to sleep.
Okay, we have Johnny back there running the booth. Thank you, Johnny.
Best.
Fine job. Susie Draney with us from Draney Insurance. I'm Ron Futrell. In for
where are you from?
Brian, I'm here from. I've been here forever.
A show or
30
do the news?
8 News Now. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
And Brian Shapiro, the Vegas Take. We're filling in for Brian tonight. He's on assignment over at the Thomas and Mack Center watching basketball. We have a bunch of callers on the line, so let's jump right into them, and let's go line 21. By the way, when I give those numbers, 21, that doesn't mean we have 21 callers. I exaggerate. I just
I'm
make
so
up.
glad you cleared that up for me.
Yeah, just make up numbers to make it
obvious.
seem like we have more lines than we do.
People call us. We
But Robert,
are lonely.
fire
Hi,
away, Robert. What's up?
How you doing? So how long do we give the new coach to have a winning season? I mean, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years?
I think 3 games is acceptable.
Susie, there you go. Susie, she's tough. Oh, she's tough.
Mr. Futrell, I want you to know that I think you're one of the best at what you do here in this town.
Oh, thank you. What do I do? I do a little sports now and then.
The good work there.
Well, thank you. It's
the
fun.
Right coach, you should give him the opportunity to actually build the
Ron,
program.
wouldn't you be the coach of the Rebels?
Okay, I'll be the coach. You have to have It says you have to.
Can I be the assistant coach?
Yes. She wants somebody with head coaching experience. And by the way, I coached 3 bitty ball teams.
That's right.
They were unsuccessful.
Were they club sport?
They were club sport.
Ball.
Yeah,
that's
so
serious.
It was 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds, and that was not fun. I was hugely unsuccessful. My kids fired me. But still, I have head coaching experience.
Yes.
And by the way, I could work with the media. I just tell the media to shut up and get out of my face.
All right, Trump, settle down over there.
All right, Robert, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Bob, line 35. What's up? Hey, Bob.
Bob, did we lose Bob?
Bob.
Hello.
Bob.
Hi.
Bob. Bob.
Yes.
Yeah, we got you now.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Sorry, I had you on speakerphone.
Yeah, turn your radio down.
Delay. Hey, happy Friday, guys.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Hey, so I lived, I grew up, I graduated from UNLV. Ron, I'm probably just as old as you, if not older.
There you go.
Probably look younger.
117.
Anyway, so I grew up in the heydays, and UNLV, I was at every game, win or lose, it didn't matter. And I think you're talking about paying the recent Menzies, paying him his salary. Are we still paying for Massimino?
No. That we finally got. Rolly's no longer with us. He passed about 2 years ago. But no, you make a good point.
Look what Patino did to us. I mean, he used us for Kentucky, and he just made fools of us back in the day.
I think Patino wanted this job. I think Carol Harder and Charlie Cavanero, the president and the athletic director, screwed that up. And I said it on air that I predicted that they would, and they did. I think they would have liked the job, but they were so unprofessional. And they just they screwed it up.
They were, but the thing is, I think the problem is we're living in the past. We need to live in the future.
That's all we got. No, you're right. You're right. But I will say it is sad to say it's all we got because now. But I will say this: now we do have. We do have some optimism for the future with a new coach. Okay, we have that. There is some optimism. And how long to give? Susie said 3 games. She's tough. Okay, she's. I think there's some good players coming. Menzies had some good players, had some good talent.
Will they stay though? Now that he's not here,
they could. Why not?
Rice was a great recruiter, right? I mean,
he was an amazing recruiter.
You're not a coach. You're not going to put together.
Bill Bano was a great recruiter.
We kind of just need, I've always said that we kind of just need like an a-hole to be a coach, to get things done. Like, no, stop hiring all these nice coaches. I don't want a nice coach. I don't date nice guys. I don't want that for me when it comes.
Well, listen, we're a running gun team, and it was like, with Raleigh, I mean, he played an East Coast style of basketball. I mean, that's how you look at it. I mean, do we want that kind of play?
No.
If we want it, we gotta embrace it. But college basketball has evolved over the years since the 90s, and we have to embrace today. But
that's
just my 2 cents worth.
No, you're right, Bob. Okay, would you go back to the Thomas and Mack with the right coach?
I would go back. They raised my scholarship tickets when
they did.
Raleigh came in. And so, yeah, I would definitely go back. I'm still going to be going to the Raiders Stadium with 3,000 people. But, hopefully that pans out as well.
Good luck with the parking.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what Uber's for.
That's what Uber's for. That's what Uber's
Isn't
for.
it
All right.
strange that we could build all these stadiums with no parking?
No.
But you can't have a CVS without 75 parking
Yeah,
spots.
if you went to the county,
2,800. They gave away 2,800 parking spots.
yes,
Come on, that's just
they should have
absolutely
18,000.
But that just shows you, that's old Vegas.
All right, all right, Bob. Thanks.
Thanks, Bob.
I'll mention this real quick before we go to Fernando, who's hanging on. So hang on a second, Fernando. But you brought up a good thought. Is the stadium here? If I was to build an apartment complex,
Yes.
okay, let's say with 300 units. A good sized apartment complex, and I went to the county commission and says, I'm going to build this apartment complex. Okay, the parking. Where's the parking? I've got about a dozen spots. A dozen.
Approved.
But we approve it because the people can just take Uber in and out, and they can come and go with Uber, and they don't really. It's not really worried about parking. Just approve it, or I'll figure it out later.
Yeah. That's what you gotta love about Vegas. We are still on the take.
A
if you
65
think politicians are taking side stuff now,
No.
look at we can build a stadium. Oh, you don't need
65,000 seats, but we got 2,000, 2,500 parking spots.
If you go to that CVS right down the street, they're required to have 75 spots. When's have you been in a CVS? And there's no parking around here.
The 2,500 might cover the handicap parking for a 65,000 seat arena.
Yeah.
So get your handicap placards, folks. Okay, Fernando, what's up?
Hi, good show. Well, first off, IAD doesn't know how to count. 2019 minus 1990 is 29 years, right?
It is. He was drawing the comparison with USF, and I get that, San Francisco. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Ours is a little more recent. Yeah. Yes.
And I was hoping they would squeeze out one more year out of Coach Menzies, but it looks like we're going to have to pay his, 2 more years of his salary, and we're still paying Dave Rice's salary also?
I think Rice is done. Yeah, I think it's just Menzies that they're paying now.
And then Ron, take us back to the 90s. Well, first off, back in the mid-90s, I wish they would have hired Paul Westhead, the guru of Go, okay? But take us back about Lamar Odom and the dentist.
You know that story?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Lamar Odom, and here's what I know of the story. And in fact, it's sort of interesting. In light, this was the first thing I thought of when I heard all of the stories about the people that are using the college admission scandal that's going on right now. Okay, and we had our own with Lamar Odom in that he, Fernando. Jump in and correct me if I'm wrong with any of these things. I'm going to tell the story as I know it, okay? Will you tell me how you know it? Were you personally involved, or did you know David Chapman, the dentist, Dr. Tooth, or did you know Lamar Odom, or you just know the story?
Go out on the street and read newspaper articles and then going into the dentist history.
Yes, okay. So Lamar Odom was, when he was in high school on the East Coast in New York, I believe. He couldn't pass his SAT. Took it 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times there. Didn't pass it. They fly him from New York to L.A. to take his SAT at a SAT factory, a place that you want to take the SAT here, we'll get your SAT.
You don't need an ID. You lost it, we trust you.
We'll get your SAT. And so he goes there and passes the SAT, which, again, the college admission scandal that we're seeing right now, similar things happen then. But we have our own experience with this. So Lamar Odom now is getting ready to come to UNLV. It's 1996, 96, 97, right around there, the summer of 96, I believe. So so he now is coming, and everybody's pretty excited. This is Bill Bano's the head coach, and now Bill Bano, who's a great recruiter, now has landed the #1 recruit in the country. Plus, he's left-handed. As a lefty, I was happy to see him coming here. So, Sports Illustrated does a story on this factory in Southern California that gets athletes their SATs when they otherwise could not pass them, and Lamar Odom's name was prominently mentioned in the article. So the athletic director at the time, I believe, was Jim Weaver, who said, listen, Lamar Odom, you cannot – actually, Weaver should have been gone by then. It was probably Cavanero. Lamar Odom, you cannot come to UNLV unless you retake the SAT under our controlled circumstances. Lamar says, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
So I'm not coming to UNLV. So now Lamar Odom is sitting here in Vegas, he's I believe staying at David Chapman's house, or at least was real close with Chapman. Dr. Tooth, who was a booster, it was a violation, and it ended up putting UNLV on probation for 5 years. Part of this, but anyway, I'm jumping ahead of myself. So he goes downtown, drives and David Chapman, who's no longer with us. He died of a cocaine overdose, I believe. But anyway, he had taken his Mercedes, who had the license plate Dr. Tooth. So here's Lamar Odom driving in the Mercedes downtown and solicits. This is all what the police report says. Solicits a hooker downtown, and so that he gets arrested. And
how do you know the hooker didn't solicit him?
No, it was a cop. It was an undercover cop. Okay, I remember David Chapman, the quote from him in the paper when he saw Lamar and saw the cop, and said, "I can't believe you. I can't believe, Lamar, you went after that ugly cop."
Yeah, she's a -10, yeah.
Yeah, have a little more. He called her a -10. Have a little more discretion, Lamar.
But it could only go up from there.
Lamar's aunt, I believe it was his aunt who was raising him, then gets angry that he's in trouble. All these scandals have come here, and she was promised by Bano that things would go well, and so she blows the whistles. She calls the NCAA and talks about all the cash that she got. Greg Vitrone was one of the assistant coaches. Shoes Vitrone. He was intimately involved with it. Bano ended up losing his job. We got put on 5 years probation because of it, and the cover got blown off of all of this. And it was a messy time with Lamar Odom here, and I hope he's recovered from that and from his visit to Pahrump when he passed out at the Bunny Ranch.
He really enjoys.
So what do you, Fernando? What do you know? How did I do on that story? Are there any other details you know, or correct me if I got something wrong?
No, you're right on. 5 stars right there, Ron.
I got 5 stars.
So we can rebuild the program, even with all of that.
Yeah, all right, Fernando, thanks.
Right?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, that Lamar Odom story. By the way, when it happened here until we get, yes, si se puede.
Yes,
si se puede. Si se puede. That Lamar Odom story didn't get a whole lot of attention at the time. It was barely a little blip. And I remember reporting on it and going, like, why is this not a bigger deal? This is sort of a big deal. Now, the probation, the investigation of the probation certainly did.
Yeah.
But what initiated it with what is now in light of this story, which we will talk about at some length here at some point, maybe even now. What do we have? We have 10 minutes. But is it the college admissions scandal that is rocking the nation right now? And that's what we had our own small version of it, but it was take an SAT factory, and that's part of this is as a way to take your SAT. So Susie, fill us in. What's the latest and the greatest of what's going on with this Felicity Huffman, Lori Loughlin?
Well, they all made bail because I was worried about that.
Ooh, barely.
Lori got fired from the Hallmark Channel.
Oh no!
I mean, how sad is that? You allegedly get indicted and then have to be arrested, and then your job fires you, and it's the Hallmark Channel. This is a great movie for them. They could have had the script written out and everything.
Think of who's the bad? Oh, the bad guy Singer, that Rick Singer. So they had the bad evil guy,
and the spoiled teenage daughter that she was raising. But I think it would be hard. You have children. I obviously don't. But I think that you get to a point in your life where you do want to give your kids more opportunities. And it seems like these parents were really trying to give their kids more opportunities, but their kids just didn't deserve the opportunities. So they didn't earn them. Adopt. Get a smarter kid. Move on.
They're out there. They're out there. They're in China.
If you really want your kid to go to Harvard,
kid from China.
Yeah, get a kid from China.
they adopt them all the time.
Yeah.
Now, my parents.
What was that movie where they the Blind Side? She really wanted to have a kid that was good at football. What did she do?
And he was very good at football. And he was able. Sandra Bullock.
She adopted.
Now that wasn't in real life Sandra Bullock, but Sandra Bullock acted the role. But the family did.
Overinvest in children that are just bad.
My parents, I'm looking back on how they rigged the system for me in my behalf to try to get
that work out
to Mount San Antonio Junior College, Mount SAC. I was a Mountie. Now, the junior college system in Southern, now let me tell you, in California, it's tough to get into a JUCO. You've got to have, first of all, they prefer that you have a high school degree. which I had. I had a high school degree, and then
I think it's a diploma.
A diploma. You have to buy an admissions card, which was $15 at the time. I don't know what they're up to now. Probably $30. But it was
30 when I had a.
When you had to,
yeah.
Okay, so maybe it's 45 now, but it was $15, and they gave you that money to be able to do it.
That has been on your soul ever since.
Sort of a little bit of a bribe to let me in. And so I went to Mount Sac, and I was a Mountie, and that's what it cost. And no other than that, no tuition. And
there was no tuition involved at all?
No tuition. No, that was it. It was free.
Your education.
It was free. No, I worked at Mount Sac Radio. It was a 1-watt radio station that was it covered almost the entire city of Walnut, California.
Okay, so you have children of your own.
Yes.
Have you paid for them to get into
any
colleges?
All of their. I paid. I did nothing under the table. Oh no. Okay. Here's the deal with my kids. Okay.
Let's talk about it.
The Millennium Scholarship thing.
Yes.
Which was great here in the state of Nevada. Was all the tobacco money that we got here in the state and went towards, if you had at least a B average, I believe.
Yep, you had a B average and you stayed in state. You could
you can go
to college for free.
Yeah, you can go to UNR, CCSN, Vegas. But my kids decided they did not. They all qualified for the scholarship.
Absolutely. They got to stick it to dad.
They wanted to go. They wanted to go to Utah to go to college. They all wanted to go with their friends. So
that's your fault. Letting them have friends.
So you're right. The friend thing I should have kept.
They had siblings. Keep them in like a little group together.
Oh, one goes to SUU. In Cedar City, and the other UVSC. The other two went to UVSC, and in Provo, just right next to BYU. They could have gone to BYU; it would have been cheaper, but they decided to go to the expensive state school. Yeah. Now, those schools also provide tuition if you're illegal, if you sneak across the border.
Oh,
seriously, they do. And those Utah state schools will provide tuition if you are an illegal alien, illegal immigrant, illegal whatever you want to say. If you don't have, if you're an undocumented student,
so you get to go there for free if you were born in another.
I did tell my kids. I said, if you could, please go. Not all the way to Ensenada, but go to Tijuana at least.
Yeah, see what happens.
So not 80 miles inside the border, but go Tijuana, and then come across the border there, and then not walk all the way to Utah, but I'll pick you up somewhere near San Diego or somewhere at a golf course, Torrey Pines.
You had to pay for
go to Torrey Pines. I'll pick you up and drive you there, and you could say to the admissions people that you just walked across the border and that you would like school for free. And see what happens. But no, I had to pay.
Every time.
Yeah, we didn't do that. I had to pay for the tuition for them. So I think college is a scam.
Yes, I agree with you.
How about that? Well, let's go here.
Probably because I didn't go to college, so I'm just going to go with, that seemed like a lot of work.
Yeah. I did later. I went to BYU. And that was back then. They let anybody in.
Clearly,
if you had Pulse, you were let in. And I think I'm still on academic probation. If I were to go back, it still I didn't quite graduate. Is it called graduate?
I don't know.
Whatever the word is. Yeah, we get that. So I didn't do that. So that's how entitled I was. But here's what I hope happens. And I'd like to get comments on that, thoughts if you want, is I hope this opens up the entire admissions process of what happens, how people get into college. Right now, colleges, and every college, I think, except for 2 or 3 in the country, Heritage doesn't take federal funds. I don't think BYU takes federal funds. Oh. I don't think they do. And there might be 1 or 2 other colleges that do not take federal funds. Any school that takes federal funds, here's my thoughts. I'd love Congress to pass this bill in light of what's going on right now. Needs to be totally transparent with their admissions process. I want to know who they're letting in, why they're letting in, what the rules are, and the rules be applied fairly so that we all know, and do it in the light of day. Shine the light on these cockroaches. Do it in the light of day, because I think the admissions process is corrupt across the board, and this is indicative of the scandal that we're seeing.
I don't think you're going to see a lot of things change with this. I think it's still going to continue to go on. I think in a couple of weeks it'll be out of the news, and no one will really give a
okay, but there's
I just don't think that there's enough of the people that it's actually affecting to where it's getting pushed right to the top of the media.
No, you're right. It doesn't affect a lot of people, but it hits all the buttons. It hits all the privilege buttons that
every rich kid is now sad that they have to take a test.
What?
They actually might have to attend the rest of their senior year. Well, like the regular kids are like, well, yeah, we still have to apply. We still have to do this. And so I don't think it's going to hit a significant amount of kids to where like this is ridiculous, you know.
I'm an optimist. I think
I'd like to see kids in the streets protesting this, and I'd like to see like some student council. All of the student council in Las Vegas get together and protest this. That this should be illegal. These people should be charged. They should,
Instead, today we had elementary kids walk out because of climate change, which is always going to happen. Which is always going to happen 12 years from now. Wherever you're at in life, it's always 12 years from now. I'm going to talk about that some more when we get back. That would go, but we got to take a break, right, Johnny? We're on the break time. Okay, with Susie joining, I'm Ron Futrell. Johnny back there, running the board in for Brian Shapiro tonight on the Vegas Take.